That film was awesome. I don't know if that footage was actually made for that educational short. My gut is no. My gut is that it was they just used it from something else that was maybe it was a feature film, maybe it was a an educational film that was shown in theaters. Cause man, the budget on that is big. Um, and a lot of the stuff that we showed that's silent, that's from the Mogul Brothers collection, of which that film was repurposed, where they just would take something that was on 35, reduce it to 16, and then slap on some titles to make it, to give it more sellability to educational markets, etc. And that's my gut with that. Hey, I'm Skip Elsheimer. Welcome to the AV Geeks Lunchtime Streaming Show, where we watch old 16 millimeter films and we think about them. That one visually interesting, and for some reason, you guys all started talking about drones. So there you go. That must be on your mind. This is made for postal carriers. This is make it your habit, or I don't know if it's postal carriers or postal employees. Believe it or not, they're different. And if you talk to a postal carrier and you say that, oh, well, you worked at a post office, they're very clear that it's, no, we were a postal carrier and vice versa. So I'm not sure who this is for. It's for someone that works at the post office. Make it your habit. Enjoy.
Early in the morning, in post offices across our land, postal employees begin the job of moving the mail. This is Albert, an exceptional man, full of the joy of life, precise, punctual, exact. Albert is exact about everything he does. He is never late, and he expects everything, man or bus, to be on time. The morning paper, a ritual with Albert, but he doesn't read it on government time. That's against his principles. All in all, Albert is a remarkable employee. Nothing escapes him. Albert must drive this vehicle from relay box to relay box. But first, everything must be checked in a systematic manner. Up one side and down the other. Every little detail. That's our Albert. Oh yes, he's a tire kicker too. Windshield wipers. Good. Now, seatbelt. Seatbelt up tight. Let's see. This route took him 70 minutes the last time out. The first time, it took him 90 minutes. And yesterday, he cut off 30 seconds. And there's the first one, a combination box. Very good. Seatbelt, Albert. Now the next one. You're gaining on it. Seatbelt, Albert. Now you're a little behind, but you'll make it. Now there's another. Out. Key. Door. In she goes. Good. Now seatbelt. It only takes 5 seconds. You're still a little behind. You've got a long way ahead of you, but you'll make it. Albert, watch out for this guy. Albert! Oh, too bad. Albert, no seat belt. This is Harry. He delivers the mail, too. Fortunately, Harry's wife understands him. Harry, your lunch. Harry! You did forget something else. Yes? Sorry about that, Harry. But we understand how it is when you're a bit late. Harry, that's not your parking place. Harry, your lunch. Harry! Harry's fast, very fast. He must be a great help in delivering the mail. And sorting it. Harry's also very efficient at casing his mail. Watch him, he's really a whiz. He's so fast he can make up any time he's lost. Well, usually he can. Now Harry makes a very careful check of his vehicle. Harry doesn't believe in overdoing a good thing. Harry, if you could just see out of that windshield. If you stopped, you could really case the mail. That's better. And Harry, your seatbelt. Oh, well. Really, Harry did make a lot of mistakes, but he could have survived any of his other errors. But he wasn't wearing a seatbelt. Too bad. Each year, postal employees are involved in thousands of accidents. And photos like these come across supervisors' desks. This is an actual report. It really happened to George Graham from Silver Spring. He wasn't hurt. He was wearing his seatbelt. Mr. Graham tells us about his accident as he drives the same route.
I was starting out on my last collection run, which has about 21 stops on it. And as I pulled out of the gate, I checked my seatbelt to make sure it was fastened. It was a hot, muggy day, and traffic wasn't too bad. It was fairly normal. I was going west on East-West Highway, and as I approached the light, I saw it was green. I didn't see a thing coming the other way, and I started to make my left turn. And before I completed my turn, I saw a car approaching at a high rate of speed. I accelerated and attempted to get out of his way, but I didn't quite make it. I thought I had cleared the car right when I felt the impact of it hitting me. About the same time, I felt the truck start to turn over on the driver's side. It was an awful feeling, but I was certainly glad that I had my seatbelt fastened.
Mrs. Graham is thankful that George had his seatbelt on. It saved his life. Do you wonder why George Graham always wears his seatbelt? He was lucky. How about you? And you? Is this the way you want to go? Postal regulations state that the maximum use of seatbelts is recommended for driver protection. But it's really up to you. Fasten that seatbelt. Make it your habit. It's a good habit. The way to form a habit is to do it every time.
Yeah, I think as Sean pointed out in the comments, it does have a little bit of a one got fat feel to it. But it reminded me of a film that I haven't shown in 4 years. It's called Risk Taker, and this one is more up to date. I feel like that was probably, I don't know, 60s, 70s? I don't know, what's your feeling about when that came out? This one I think was made in late 70s, 80s. The Risk Taker.
There are almost 2 million on-the-job injuries and deaths each year. Most of them are caused by unnecessary risk-taking. This is the story of one of them.
You know, you ought to wear this suit to work after the wedding, Eddie. Give the guys at the warehouse a real laugh.
In the week before young Eddie Jones' wedding, Gil Greenlee helped him with his tux.
Speaking of something to wear, look what the guys and I made for you.
Gave him a custom-made hard hat from his well-wishing friends, arranged for the bachelor party, practiced his toast for the wedding reception.
I'd like to propose a toast to the bride and groom.
And put in his pre-wedding Friday afternoon working with Eddie, just as he usually did.
Hey, Eddie, take a look. That brakes.
So stop driving this thing and get them fixed before you hurt yourself.
Look, I'm not the only one who drives this thing, and if the guy before me didn't red tag it, why should I? Anyhow, the brakes aren't that bad. Now, come on and load this thing so we can get out of here for your party tonight. Great hard hat.
As reported later, he didn't think the brakes were really dangerous. Besides, he figured if someone else could handle that forklift, so could he. With that tragic decision, Gil Greenlee joined the Risk Takers. In the world we live in, a lot of people take risks. Some are taken for excitement, challenge, or fun. Some are taken for fame or fortune. And some are an inevitable part of certain jobs in the 20th century. But today, we're talking about a whole other category of risk takers whose injuries and deaths have nothing to do with money or fun. And they certainly aren't an inevitable part of their jobs in the 20th century. We're talking about people who put their feet, hands, and hearing at risk, who use chairs instead of proper stools or ladders, who fail to wear hard hats, or safety glasses, or lock out their power sources, who run on the job, remove safety devices, ignore safety warnings, take drugs, endanger their backs by lifting improperly, or who endanger their lives by failing to use their safety belts. People like Postal driver Jerry DeVries, who decided one day that wearing his safety belt was inconvenient.
Yeah, I have a delivery route in a real quiet residential area. And even though it's a strict rule of the Postal Service that we have to keep our safety belts on all the time when the vehicle is moving, I sometimes take mine off because it's a lot of trouble to wear it when I have to keep getting in and out of the Jeep. Anyhow, that one day, I was delivering the mail like always, when a car came roaring out of nowhere, and that's the last thing I remember. Really embarrassing thing is, the police said I probably would have been all right if I had been wearing my safety belt and had my door closed in the intersection.
An unnecessary risk, taken for an unimportant reason. And the unfortunate thing is that most people who take risks and get hurt really know better. Like the construction worker who poured gasoline into a hot engine. Or the machinist who removed his safety glasses because he said they were uncomfortable. Or the gas line worker who thought he could get away with working in an unshored trench because, as he told his friends,
I'm only going to be in there a few minutes.
but still, millions of people are killed and injured because they gamble with unnecessary risks, as safety specialists know so well.
Unfortunately, everybody takes risks sometimes, but nobody takes risks all the time. And some people are just more liable to take risks at certain times of the day than others. Risk-taking really increases if you're tired, angry, hungry, or maybe you're just in a hurry. And it really increases if you've been taking drugs or if you've been drinking, because then your judgment's been badly affected.
If you could scan the brains of representative risk-takers to discover why they take risks, you'd find reasons like these very much alive inside their minds.
Taking risks can save time.
Taking risks can make the job easier.
I'm not afraid to take risks.
I won't get hurt.
Or most often of all,
I can get away with it.
the fact is that most people just don't believe that anything bad will happen to them. The construction worker who poured gasoline into the hot engine knew it wouldn't explode. The machinist who endangered his eyes didn't think he'd get hit with flying chips. The gas line worker alone in the unshored trench knew it wouldn't collapse. And the postal driver was sure he could drive his Jeep safely without his seatbelt. In fact, almost everyone injured from risk-taking was sure they could get away with it that one time. Nobody takes an intentional risk expecting to get hurt. And they're not only convinced they'll get away with it, a lot of them actually think they'll get some kind of reward out of it. As the postal driver said,
I thought it would be more convenient the way I did it.
As the injured machinist said,
I thought I'd be more comfortable without my glasses, that's all.
As the burned construction worker said,
I figured it would be faster the way I did it.
And as Gil Greenlee, the forklift driver, was reported to have said,
I didn't have time to get the brakes fixed. Anyhow, it was faster and less work just to keep going.
faster, less work, easier, more comfortable. But the problem is that the assumed rewards are so vastly outweighed by the possible consequences of the risk. No thinking person would trade a fractured skull for the comfort of going without a hard hat, or a fractured hip for the convenience of using an office chair as a ladder, or possible death because it was fun to ignore the rules for safety around heavy equipment. Because, as those familiar with Gil Greenlee's case were reminded so tragically, the consequences of risks always exceed their imagined rewards.
But because not every risk has a bad outcome, the risk takers are encouraged to take new risks, simply because they got away with the last one.
The whole thing becomes a game of risk roulette, where the winners never win anything important, and the losers too often lose their lives. In risk roulette, if you land on a green space, you got away with it that time. If you land on the yellow, it's a minor injury. If you land on the red, a major injury. If you land on this space, a fatality. And because it's a brand new spin of the wheel every time a risk is taken, the odds of a bad outcome increase the more you play. And while there are more green spaces than the others, and while some may get away with their gamble for several spins, you just never know where the ball will fall, do you?
And the rules of risk roulette apply equally to those who take their risks unknowingly, simply because they're careless or daydreaming, or maybe they might just not recognize their unsafe acts as risks at all.
It just doesn't occur to some people that unbalancing a file cabinet is dangerous, or running through slippery areas, or jumping off a loading dock, or using tools improperly, whether on the job or at home, where literally hundreds of hazards lie in wait to sabotage the risk-takers who fail to recognize the danger. And the results can range from saw cuts to slips and falls and serious injury. part of the problem is that people who do a job many times tend to get overconfident, careless, and to forget the risks their job involves. The lineman who works with high voltage may not get overconfident as soon as the worker who pounds nails. But even when you're working with 21,000 volts, familiarity can breed carelessness. And because the outcome of risk roulette is so often tragic, it's vital for people to consider the consequences before they play. And in that tiny second, before they decide to endanger their feet and ears, use chairs as ladders, work without hard hats or safety glasses, run on the job, ignore safety warnings, lift improperly, drive without safety belts, drive a forklift with faulty brakes or whatever, they should consider the possibility of an accident and injury by asking themselves to, suppose I fall. Suppose I injure my head. Suppose I blind my eye. Suppose I trip. Suppose I crush my hand. Suppose I injure my back. Suppose I crash with another car. Then, they should balance those serious consequences against such unimportant rewards as a few seconds saved versus injury or death. Finally, at work or at home, they should remember they're about to gamble on the deadly game of risk roulette, and to consider that the ball could drop in the green, the yellow, the red, or in the skull this very time. Which brings us back to Gil Greenlee, the forklift driver.
Hey, come on, Eddie, snap it up, or you'll make us late to your own bachelor party.
Hey, take it easy, Gil. We'll get there all right.
Gil knew his brakes were defective that day. In fact, the investigation showed that he commented on it to several of his fellow workers. But he kept on driving his forklift anyhow, in part because he had a reputation as a pretty macho guy who had to get the job done.
All right, move it out, buddy.
And to show off for his friends, like young Eddie Jones.
Hey, Tony, out of the way!
So, there you had a man who knew he was taking a risk, but for reasons of his own, he kept right on taking it. But at 3:15 on the afternoon of Friday, December the 11th, Gil Greenlee's game of risk roulette came to a deadly end.
Hey, watch out, I can't stop this thing! Man, that was close. You guys see that? I'd have gone off the dock if I hadn't hit those boxes.
Hey, nice job here, Greenlee.
Yeah, how about that?
You okay?
Yeah, I'm fine, but I'm not sure about the boxes.
Yeah, I think you just
That was it. End of the game. But ironically, not for Gil Greenlee. Because, you see, it sometimes happens that the victim of a risk-taker is an innocent bystander. In this case, a good friend who just happened to be in the wrong place at the wrong time.
Hey, anybody see Eddie? Eddie, where are you? Eddie!
Case history of a risk-taker whose rewards hardly equaled the consequences of his unsafe act.
Man, what a great movie that is. And of course, I had to show it because of that. The footage of the female postal employee hitting the windshield and bouncing back. That's just, so good. And, would that make the point more? Plus, that film had a crazy copyright. So it was MCM, which is 1900. Then it was XXCV. So that would be XXC would be 80 and then 5. But you don't normally see that. That's like weird. So normally you would see, what is it? So at MCM L for 50 and then XXXV. That would be normally what you see. So there you go. Keeping you on your toes. Is that legal Roman numerals? Who knows? Who knows? Let's sing and dance about selling Chevrolets. Enjoy.
Hello, how do? Hi, y'all. How are you? We're glad to see you looking well. You're fine. That's good. You should feel good. And somewhat kind of extra special swell. Because the opportunities for 55 should make you all feel great to be alive. Alive! Alive! Now who should know better than we? And we includes me, and me, and me. Yes, sir, boy, we're your market. The doctors, clerks, and bakers. We're your market. Mechanics and homemakers. Men lawyers, firemen, and farmers. Teachers, preachers, country boys, and city farmers. We're your market. The carpenters and admin. We're your market. Collegiate undergraduate. All of us together number way up in the millions. With dough to spend that figures all the way up in the billions. We're your market. So fellas, won't you tell us? We're your market. We're daring you to sell us. Sure you got it. We all want it. Prove it before us. Americans, we the people will always lay our door for the rest. Yes. I need the car for my business.
Well, I need it too, my dear spouse.
So sell me one car to make calls in.
And another to keep peace around the house.
We have just moved to the suburbs, and this country air is fine. But I'm tired of trains and buses.
Now a Chevrolet would make life divine.
Senator, will you comment on our populations rising 8,000 every day? That's true, sir. And I'd like to see a bill in Congress to put them all in a Chevrolet. Buggies were fine to go dating when Grandma was a lass. But today, to win a pretty girl, you gotta have wheels that run on gas. Cranking was okay for Grandpa until self-starting came through. So why bust your arm doing something that turning a key can do? Sure you got it. We all want it. Prove it before us. Americans, we the people will always lay our door for the turkey-turkey. 50 million bank accounts to draw from, plus our pay. You just prove that living's better if you drive a Chevrolet. We're your market, so fellas, won't you tell us? We're your market, we're daring you to sell us. North and south and east and west, we're waiting. Show us what you've got, our hearts are palpitating.
On the great Atlantic coast, we got New York town plus fertile farmland and factories of all sorts. We got chorus gals and office workers and fisheries and coast resorts. We got streets and roads and new highways. This is your market for new Chevrolets on the great Atlantic coast. In the Great Lakes region, we got Chicago's yards and Wisconsin cheeses and Iowa corn that grows and grows. We got income from our wheat and pickles, summer tourists and Minnesota snows. We got streets and roads and new highways. This is your market for new Chevrolets on the Great Lakes. In the great eastern region, we got senators and FFPs and chicken wings and such. We got rolling turnpikes with more to come. What we ain't got ain't nothing much. We got streets and roads and new highways. This is your market for new Chevrolets in the great eastern region. In the great Midwest, we've got scenery and cash from mining and farms and farms and farms. We've got factories and oil refining and oh yes, we've got farms. We've got streets and roads and new highways. This is your market for new Chevrolets in the great Midwest. In the great Southeast, we got coasts and hills and scenic driving and guys and gals who drove. We got Navy yards and glamorous Miami and hospitality with a big yawl. We got streets and roads and new highways. This is your market for new Chevrolets in the great Southeast. In the great Southwest, we got Texas oil, Louisiana cotton, and herds of cattle, of course. We got stretches of road for floorboard driving and cowboys who never rode a horse. We got streets and roads and new highways. This is your market for new Chevrolets in the great Southwest. In the great Flint region, we got factories with factory payrolls and hills with dough from ore. We got vacation dollars and spread out cities, got grain and fruit and so much more. We got streets and roads and new highways. This is your market for new Chevrolets in the great Flint region. On the great Pacific coast, we got healthy air and fruits and oranges and timber, salt and mill. We
We got Hollywood and parks and orchards, and there's gold in them thar hills. We got streets and roads and new highways. This is your market for new Chevrolets on the great Pacific coast.
We're your market, some 60 million working. We're your market, the market should be working. 50 million bank accounts to draw from. Plus our pay, you just prove that living's better if we drive a Chevrolet. We're your market, we're your market, we're your market.
Money, 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 money. Money, 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 money.
Oh, you know we got the dough, but we won't just let it go. You gotta come around and see me. You gotta come around and see me. Fundamentals do get rusty. Dust 'em off if they is dusty. And fundamental number one is come around and see me. You gotta come around and see me.
Money, 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 money.
Paychecks come to quite a sum.
Money, money.
If you're gonna get this plum,
Money, money.
you gotta shake it loose. You gotta shake it loose. You gotta shake, shake, shake it loose. Money in the bank account.
Money, money.
Just you watch the green stuff mount.
Money, money.
Unless you shake it loose, you gotta shake it loose. You gotta shake, shake, shake it loose. I'm so eager to be buying. Sure, I got the money, but you gotta do the trying. Get out and beat the bushes. Got dollars, but I'm holding tight.
Money, money.
You gotta treat me right.
Money, money.
'Cause I got the money, 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 money. You gotta shake it, shake, shake, shake it. You gotta shake it loose. Money, money, money. Paychecks come to quite a sum. If you're gonna get this plum, money, money, gotta shake it loose. You gotta shake it loose. You gotta shake, shake, shake it loose. Money in the bank account. Just watch the green stuff out. Money, money, shake it loose. You gotta shake it loose. You gotta shake, shake, shake it loose. I'm so eager to be buying. Sure, I got the money, but you gotta do the
I mean, it grows on me, man. It really grew on me. At first I was like, what's going on? But then that whole money, money, money song. So, and some of you might have felt like you were that postal employee who wasn't wearing seatbelts and like bashed your head into the windshield. Perhaps that's what you felt. But man, that was something else. Thank you, Kevin, and thank you, Jeremy, for donating. You did not donate for that last film, but it all kind of adds up. You did it via the super thanks button, which we appreciate. Here's a film. So this is an experiment. We're going to show this film. This is from the Prelinger archive. We digitized it. And we don't know who the band is, and we don't know what the song is. Let's see if YouTube tells us. And maybe you can tell me. Enjoy. Friends. Wow, that was fast. Old radios using Shazam on their phone. Nice work. We'll see if YouTube figures it out. And thankfully, it didn't stop the stream. So there's that. Thank you, Nathan, for the donation. They donated via the Super Thanks button, but you can also donate via the ko-fi.com/avgeeks or patreon.com/avgeeks. Those are great ways to support us. But you know what we realized? Becoming a subscriber really helps. Incredibly helps us. So if you haven't subscribed yet, do that. Or hit the like button, or watch other videos that we have on our site, on our YouTube channel. Those are great ways to support us. Oh, that tape is about to die. Let me say goodbye, and I'll stop that VHS tape. And everybody have a great rest of your day. We'll see you tomorrow. Take care.